Hi there, this is Mr. Evans. This is the first video in the unit 3.9 looking at strategic methods, and in this I'll give a brief overview of the unit and we'll look at changes in scale in terms of growth and retrenchment. So we're on 3.9.1 and starting at the top left here, the reasons why businesses grow or retrench. So just a quick overview of the A-Level Business Studies course. So these are the units that you study in AAS, and I like to think of this triangle here as a business. We've got the different functional areas here that actually operate the business, that interact with customers. These are at the bottom. We've got the managers and the leaders here in 3.2, which we briefly look at in the AAS content. We go into far more depth when we come back up to this management and leadership level, and all of these units 3.7 to 3.10 are about strategic decision making. In other words, the process that the managers, the leaders of these organisations go through as they are setting their strategy and implementing their strategy. So this is what the process of setting and implementing a strategy looks like. First of all, we set our mission statement, we undertake our SWOT analysis, set objectives, and create the strategy. So that's, if you think about 3.7 and 3.8, what you studied in those units, that was really looking at, first of all, analysing the strategic position of the business. Where are we? We undertake our internal and external analysis, our SWOT, our PESTLE analysis. And then in 3.8, we choose our strategic direction. We really look at creating the strategy that we're going to follow in 3.8. And then 3.9, if you like, is where it starts getting really interesting, because we look at the strategic methods for how to pursue those strategies. So 3.7, we're looking at where we are, we're trying to work out what our core competences are as a business. 3.8, we're going to choose the strategic direction that we head in, and then 3.9 is all about how we actually go about pursuing the strategies, setting them in motion and doing them. And the unit is called 3.9, how strategic methods, how to pursue strategies, and we can define strategic methods as the specific actions that will be taken in order to implement the organisation's strategy. So that's an overview. What we're looking at today in this video is why businesses grow or retrench. So first of all, looking at growth. So we could define growth as occurring as when there is an increase in the size of an organisation's operations. Well, that's a bit vague. What do we mean by that? Well, it could be that we increase the number of physical assets that a business has. We buy new premises, we increase the number of shops or branches or offices that a business owns. It might be that we're expanding in terms of the number of employees. We're on the same site, but we're employing far more employees. It might be that we're increasing the product range. We're growing through increasing our product range, selling hopefully to new customers. It could be that we're growing in terms of undertaking some merger and acquisition activity, where we're actually going out and we're buying other companies, maybe in the same markets as us. Maybe we're buying one of our competitors, maybe we're buying one of our suppliers, maybe we're buying one of our customers. Maybe we're buying an organisation in a totally different industry, but the point is that we are growing through merging with other companies. Or it could mean that we're expanding overseas. We're taking our business model and we're trying to make it work in overseas markets. So here's some examples of headlines about growth. Sainsbury's buying Argos, M&S expanding across India, IKEA buying TaskRabbit, the budget gym boom, how low-cost clubs are driving up membership. That's organisations like Pure Gym, really low-cost gym memberships. And those companies have grown massively by opening new branches across the country, across the UK in recent years. So, what are the reasons for growth? Well, it might be to take advantage of our brand image and USP. For example, with those budget gyms that I was talking about, they've managed to, they sell their memberships very, very cheaply. You can join for as little as maybe £20 a month for 24-hour access to a gym that's really well kitted out. And they've built a brand image on that, and they want to take advantage of it by bringing it to new customers in new markets, new geographical areas. It might be that we're looking to increase our sales revenue or increase our market share. That's why we're growing. It could be that we want to enter into new markets. We've seen we're maybe in one sector and we've seen another market that's expanding rapidly. Maybe we want to move into that sector. Maybe our market isn't growing rapidly, and we want to spread risk in case we're at the maturity stage of our product life cycle, and we want to enter into a new market so we can spread our risk, gain new customers. Perhaps we're wanting to benefit from economies of scale and reduce our selling costs so we can be more competitive. Perhaps we're simply just looking to compete with our rivals, and that's a reason for growth. Finally, I've kind of mentioned the attractiveness of new markets as compared to the ones that we're currently operating in. Okay, but not all organisations necessarily want to grow, and growth isn't always seen as a good thing. And in fact, some organisations undertake a strategy of retrenchment. So we could undertake a strategy of growth, where we increase the size of our operations, and retrenchment occurs where there's a reduction in the size of our operations. Okay, so we're actually selling off different units of our business. Excuse me, I should have sorted that out. So what are the reasons that we might retrench? Well, we want to focus on our core competencies. This idea of core competencies is really crucial in A-level business. A core competence is something that we are really, really good at that nobody else can copy. And maybe through growth, we've started to focus on things that aren't our core competence. So I've given the example here of Tesco. Tesco spent a lot of time sort of between 2005, maybe 2012, sort of expanding into foreign markets. They got into coffee shops, restaurants, and in recent years, Tesco have reversed that trend to focus on their core competence, which is understanding the UK grocery market. So they sold the Giraffe restaurant chain and their Turkish grocery business because that's not their core competence. They're not a restaurant owner. Their core knowledge is of the UK grocery market, so they wanted to refocus on that. So they sold off parts of their business that weren't focused on that. It allows companies to leave high-risk or unprofitable markets. If we're in those high-risk, unprofitable markets, maybe it's better to get out, and so we reduce the size of the organisation. Maybe we're experiencing diseconomies of scale. It's difficult to manage our business. We've got lots of different things going on, and maybe we're not that good at managing all of those things. So we want to refocus and simplify our business so we can focus on what we're really good at and maximise our profits from there. And if we're doing that, it should allow us to increase our efficiency. So growth, retrenchment, both valid strategies, and ones that you need to be aware of the reasons for A-level business.